Irene, just tell us, what's the latest? When does the government plan to press ahead with this plan?
Well, we're getting some mixed messages now. There appears to be some information that they may not be proceeding with demolitions in Harare pending further consultations with the people who may be affected. But in some other areas, like Rua, there already have been some demolitions and threats of more, particularly to informal traders. So there's a bit of confusion around the whole issue at the moment.
Just give us a little bit more detail and recap the case for us a little bit. How did these people land in such a desperate situation?
Well, from what we're establishing from some of the people who we've been talking to, there were some who are informal traders and they've been paying fees to continue with their operations. Others were allocated land and have been building on it and have been in some of the areas for quite a long period of time now. They have some established structures there. So it appears that it was being sanctioned, or at least someone was turning a blind eye to what was happening. Some of the areas in which they had built some of these structures are not properly allocated for that kind of structure.
Irene, there are claims of bribery that some of these people claim that they've paid monies to local councillors and politicians. Do you have any information on that?
There have been some allegations, and people have given us some documentary evidence that payments have been made and that the buildings have been sanctioned. Others, because there is a lot of accountability, we're not sure exactly what is happening. But we would really want to see a situation where people are not fearful to come forward, expose what has been happening, so that it's possible to deal with the situation and start looking at our housing issues with more accountability and transparency.
How will your organisation step into the breach there now and help these desperate people?
We're already in discussions with people who've been affected to see how they can be assisted to claim damages for the damage which was done to their property. And we'll obviously either be willing to negotiate in the event that there are further consultations with the councils and other authorities, or else we will have to, if the demolitions proceed, approach the courts and try and stop it to make sure that people have got alternative accommodation before anybody is moved from where they are currently.
Now, Irene, you've called for more talks on this matter. Do you believe that more talks should be held in this case, and that there's maybe a political motive behind these evictions?
Well, I think there may be several different motives, but I think the best thing would be for people to sit around the table and discuss. Obviously, if there's full information, the authorities can hear the plight of the people who have been in those areas and what needs to be done. And obviously, it's much better to be able to negotiate, to agree on a way forward which doesn't affect people's fundamental rights and doesn't turn it into the disaster that we saw in 2005 when demolitions went ahead without people being provided alternative shelter, when education was disrupted, and when access to health and treatment facilities was also disrupted.
Thank you very much for joining us this morning. That is Irene Petras, who is a Director of Zimbabwe's Lawyers for Human Rights. She was on the line from Harare, giving us a little bit more of an insight into the demolition of hundreds of homes that has been given the go-ahead in that country. Now,